So you started your career as a policeman, obviously protecting and caring for the public. Then you went to Tasmania in Australia at a very young age. How old were you?
Well, I had my 21st birthday in Hobart. So, yeah.
So you were a policeman in Australia?
No, I was a policeman in Gwent. When I was out in Hobart on holidays, I put an application in and I passed all the exams and the medicals and everything. So I did have a placement on in the Tasmanian Academy, but I was driving taxis for a little while and started to enjoy a taste of freedom. So I passed on that. It's all in my biography, but I passed on that idea going into the police out there.
So in Australia, did the drink start affecting your working life at this stage?
It did. I went out on my 21st to the local disco, and I was supposed to have been in. I was working in the dairy packing yogurts, but I didn't turn up for the morning shift. I wasn't a member of the union, so I lost my job there. But I wasn't bothered really. I was young. I just went from there into something else. I went driving taxis.
Yeah, you've had some very good jobs, some very well paid good jobs.
In the end, I mean, really after I got back to college and studied for a long time.
Yeah, well, you got a master's degree.
Yeah, I got a national diploma in medical laboratory sciences, a biology distinction.
And you spent 6 years retraining.
Yeah, 10 years.
10 years.
10 years education. Yeah, I did a 4-year environmental health degree after that, and then I did a master's degree after that as well in public health.
To be an environmental health officer.
Yeah.
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 So going back to the time when you were a fully blown alcoholic and you had all these great jobs.
Yep.
You did a lot of unusual things that many people wouldn't do. From talking to Caroline and things you've discussed with me in the past. Tell me a little bit about when you phoned your boss when you were drunk to tell him what you thought of him. What made you do that?
Well, I phoned a few of them when I was drunk, and expressed my opinions.
Yeah.
Inappropriately a few times.
Yeah.
It was usually to do with a disagreement. I saw things differently to others, and instead of, as I said, I was never very good at expressing myself. I think that's part of being Asperger's.
Did you get the sack on any occasion for voicing your opinion?
It didn't go down well. They'd done some office changes in Wolverhampton. It was a big open plan office, and there were 3 senior officers who were office bound. They were, I don't know, about 6 of us health officers who used to go out doing all the inspections. And then it got to a point where we needed to do more inspections. So I said, well, let the seniors go out and do a few themselves then. We've got enough to do.
Yeah.
But I never said that in a meeting. I phoned the senior when I was drunk. I said, look, why didn't you get them off their asses?
Did they know the only reason you'd rang up was because you were drunk?
I don't know.
No.
I don't know, but it was alleged that my tone was hostile, which it more than probably was.
Yeah. I understand that you hit one of your bosses once. What did he do to make you hit him? Nothing.
I was under stress. It was when I was doing I'd gone through my master's degree, and I had they said an external examiner. I was asked to do information boards at the Heath Hospital in Cardiff on my subject, which was transferred drug resistance in food animals, which was it's a current topic now. It's a big problem. And I really, it was such a privilege to have been asked. I mean, looking at it now, my goodness me, if I'd have been sober then, properly sober, it was such an honour to be asked. But I didn't feel confident, and I bowed out. Anyway, my course tutor gave me a B pass on my dissertation and an external examiner failures, which meant I had to spend another year add into the dissertation. So I had to go through. I had all the pressure of that, as well as. So my master's took 3 years instead of 2, and I was working, and I had a lot of work on, a lot of problems I was trying to solve, a lot of situations out there that needed tackling. So, and I was burdened by all of this. We were buying a house at the time and all sorts of stuff. So stress used to I was wound up like a spring. I think that's partly what it was. I was like a coiled spring, and something was going to give at some point. And alcohol snapped the spring. It allowed what's the out of the box.
Yeah.
So what happened was I went into work. And said my desk was full of paperwork, and there was no room for even a paperclip.
That people were giving you more work and more work.
Yeah, I said there was a guy there. He'd set up. He was a senior. He'd set up a taxi business, and again, he was only one that smoked. There were issues going on where my clothes used to stink, and we declared the office no smoking, and when we were all out, he ignored that, and so there were issues, and the manager to me wasn't doing what he should have been doing, and my tolerance for anyone not doing what they should be doing was, I've had to work on it. In recovery, I've had to work on tolerance and patience. I got 2 short character defects I identified very early. But anyway, so he never addressed in time. And then I said one day I come back in the office and he'd put work on my seat, so I had nowhere to sit, and I just panicked really. Went out. What was my answer to everything? Good and bad. If I was enjoying myself, what would I be doing? I'd be drinking. If I was struggling, what would I be doing? I'd be drinking. Everything involved. If I was, everything had a drink attached to it. That was what I thought everyone did.
So you went out and had a drink?
Yeah, and I snapped. I drank 2 litres of cider, and something snapped, and all that tension, all that frustration. Some call it red mist, is it, or something like that? And I just stole back in, punched him, kicked the tables, stole back out, never returned. So, but he's the guy that it's in recovery that I contacted, and we met up, and it gave me an opportunity to apologise and to make my amends, to explain to him the circumstances why. He realised then, of course, that he wasn't helping the stress situation. So he did acknowledge his contribution. Yeah. He wasn't, he wasn't a good manager in that regard, and he failed to some degree. But of course, that was no justification for me hitting him. So, but it was great because we come together, we made friends, and we're still friends. We parted friends, and I could phone him now if I needed to or wanted to, and we'd have another coffee.
Yeah.
So. And I said I've heard thousands of people that have done similar circumstances in drink, and then of course what happens then? You sober up after your hangover's gone. You may remember, you may not. If you experience blackout, you may not remember it at all. Somebody may say to you, "You don't remember punching," and you look. My father did it with my granddad. Yeah. My father said to my granddad one day, "You don't remember holding me up against the wall then and threatening to knock my head off?" And my granddad turned around to him and said, "I never did. I never do something like that." And he was totally astonished. And he couldn't remember. He was in blackout.
Obviously, the person you are today is in no way, shape or form does it resemble the person you were then. We're talking about violence and...
Let me stop you there, because again, there'll be a lot of social workers out there, psychiatrists, are thinking, we still got the potential to be aggressive. Yeah, I have. I've always had the potential to be aggressive. But when I'm sober, I can control it. Yeah. I can walk away from things. I can walk away from situations. I can identify. First off is, right, this situation is not good for me. This has caused me, I'm getting wound up here. And I can do something, I can apply a different mechanism. And in a way, that's why Taekwondo, certainly through my early recovery, was so beneficial, because again, recovery is as progressive as addiction. You don't start off with peace of mind. within the first months of getting well, you again that you grow, and I'm not the person now. It wasn't the person 1, 2, 3, 4 years in recovery. I've developed to this stage, this phase. What's my train of thought again? We'll come on to health effects in a minute.
Yeah. Don't worry. Can't remember what the question was. Let me ask you another question. And we'll come away from this topic. You also got suspended and sent to a counsellor. What was the counselling for?
For my drinking. But again, this is a situation. Their whole philosophy. This was a charity. I won't mention it because it wouldn't be fair. They're not here to give account of themselves.
Yeah.
But their whole philosophy on alcohol was that you can choose to decide whether you want to limit your drinking or control your drinking, or stop. You can do either. And it was, and of course, the first question they say is, well, what would you like to do? The first question is, why are you drinking? The second question is, what would you like to do? Do you like to stop drinking? Well, of course, for alcohol, of course, you're not going to say yes. The last thing you want to bloody do is stop drinking. You want to be able to carry on. I wanted to carry on drinking. I just wanted all the crap to go. I wanted to filter out all the rubbish, all the misery, all the damage, all the destruction. I still wanted to drink. I loved it.
Yeah.
I wanted to filter that out. Of course, you can't. They come together.
So I take it the counselling didn't work?
No, it didn't work because it's an illusion that an alcoholic can control their intake.
Yeah.
All it does is deliver false hope, and you waste years of time. The fact of the matter is, if people who go to see counsellors can't control their drinking, that's why they've gone to see a counsellor. Irrespective of what's going on in their lives, irrespective.
And would you say until that person's ready to stop, that no amount of counselling, will solve the problem?
If somebody's got craving, it makes it. This is a misunderstanding that's out there. People could quite legitimately be drinking because of difficult times. I'm not going to underestimate that. But alcoholics drink because of difficult times. Non-alcoholics drink because of difficult times. The difference between the two is that once you've dealt with those difficult times, an alcoholic will still drink because they cannot not drink. And a lot of counsellors don't understand that. A lot of people they can't see. How can you not drink then? Make a conscious choice.
Yeah.
Not to drink. But that's... it's totally underestimating the power of addiction.
There's so many.
That's why it kills so many people.
Yeah, I suppose there's so many different views on why people drink.
Well, the different views come from people who are non-alcoholic because they've never been there. They read about it in the book and they think it goes down to psychological reasons. Or, if you've not experienced craving, that compulsive drink. I tell you what, I just said, my determination. Look, I've done 10 years in college. I've proved my determination, my dedication, my commitment. But I couldn't do it with drink. And you only need to, go on the web. Look how many famous people are struggling with alcohol. And these go-getters. These are people who, have got a lot of determination and willpower, and talented people. Now, why would somebody that's got everything going for them, wealthy, fame, people love up the bits, they're on the television, whatever it is, and you can't turn around and say, oh yeah, well, it's the pressure of being famous. Somebody working in Tesco's got the same amount of pressure for that person. You know what I mean?
Yes.
The reality is, you're talking about human beings. And if control was possible, they wouldn't be a problem.
Yeah. Talking about work and employment, did you have a lot of time off work?
Yeah. In the end.
What excuses did you used to give for not going to work?
I used to take advantage of flexi leave again because alcohol is it's cunning, baffling, and powerful. I knew I needed to drink. I wanted to drink. I knew I needed to drink. So I would adjust my time. So I would have, for example, positive hours on the card that I could fold in and say, you know, I think I'll take the morning off today, and we were allowed to do that. I manipulated my work circumstances within the parameters that I was allowed to, so that it enabled me to drink and satisfy that part of my life, because my drinking was dictated. So I was bright enough, sharp enough to manoeuvre my job around. Or I would take annual leave, or I would take sick leave. So I had 3 strings to my bow that would give me time at any moment, whatever the circumstance, that I could have a deviation from my work enough to either recover, and get back in, to cover up, really, so to not let people see. But in the end, of course, my sickness record was going into overdrive, and then personnel now. I mean, they're not stupid. It flags up, doesn't it? If you're sick so many days a month or a year or something, and the frequency, they'll turn around and say, "Well, what's going on here?" They'd have you in for an interview, and that's why they sent me for counselling.
Yeah. This is why you're an environmental health officer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you ever suspect your work colleagues or the employees were getting frustrated with you?
Probably.
Is that because you weren't doing the work, or you weren't turning up, or you just became unreliable?
I always thought I always felt I was efficient at my job. Because I was dedicated, I was committed. My work, it wasn't just about money for me. It was about doing the right thing. So that was always there. I was always present. I was competent. I was good at my job. I expected other people to respect that fact, and they did.
Yeah.
I guess. My drinking must have had a tarnishing effect, on my attitude. Externally, they must have been aware.
Yeah. Do you think that drink and hangovers affected your performance at work?
Yeah. Again, when I say in the end, I mean, I'm talking like the last 10 years.
Yeah.
I used to, first off, I started I was in pollution control, and then I went into food safety. So I used to inspect every type of food business you could think of, including factories and hot dog vans. I mean, I used to do the lot. Takeaways, restaurants, school kitchens, hospital kitchens, But I used to have to inspect a lot of pubs. And again, on a Friday, you would, having done a good week's work, done your quota, raised standards in the interest of public health, my knight in shining armour. I was doing good work, and then I would justify. It wasn't quantity, it was quality was important to me. So I would feel justified on a Friday, finishing at say 4 o'clock. Again, flexi time. I could finish at 4. What would I do? Pop in the pub on the way home to work. I mean, crazy really. I'd have probably two or three pints before I even drove home. And then that'd be Friday night. All right, that's it. Down the motorway.
Yeah.
I'm not think that it was going to cause me a problem. I mean, it's insanity when you look back on it. To think that I was able to, that I could do that and it not have a detrimental effect. Unbelievable. Denial is crazy.
Did you ever take any responsibility for the way you were, or just blame the bosses? Did you ever think, I'm bringing all these problems on myself, or did you think, the more work you acquired?
I relished lots of work. I mean, the stress of it was what I was not good at dealing with.
Did you take your frustrations out on anybody, on them?
Well, yeah. In any frustrations really in drink would come out inappropriately.
Yeah.
At work.
Can you tell me how bad it became at work? How bad it became for you in the end?
Well, I mean, I used to go in Wolverhampton again. The physical effects, the bruising, the cuts, the times I used to use my first wife's makeup to camouflage cuts, bruising. I stake hot water, compresses, you name it, anything. To camouflage a bruise or a scratch or a cut.
From falling over?
From fighting, falling over, yeah, absolutely, all those sorts of things. Where I'd smash the window or something, or I'd put my hand through a window and I'd have stitches, so I'd have to cover up stitches. Just absolute nightmare. So, what was the question?
Yeah, can you give us an example of how bad it became at work?
How bad? Well, I would, now and quite often I would go and do an inspection, get it out of the way quick, and then I would go find somewhere quiet to park, because the hangovers would be horrendous.
Yeah.
And in the hangover, the guilt, the shame, the remorse, the depression, it's swirling around, and it's such a negative. Again, we'll talk about health. The psychological impact, the depression, the remorse, the guilt, all of those things swirling around. It doesn't make you happy. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
It gives you no peace of mind.
I know when I've had a drink, I'll get up in the morning and think, never again.
Oh yeah, I used to do it every time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
I never wanted those things to happen. I never ever wanted those things to happen. But I was powerless.
Truly.
And it hurts me to say that, because of how determined that I've been in my life and what I've achieved. It does hurt me that that alcohol beat me every time. But I would be lying.
Yeah.
When people turn around and say, but you can't blame alcohol for fighting. You can't blame alcohol for aggressive behaviour. You can't use it as an excuse. If you break the law, if your behaviour is unacceptable, then I deserve to be punished. I've got no qualms. This is not. I'm not seeking sympathy. I'm not seeking understanding that that people won't have a negative opinion of me because I drank. Whatever I did in drink, solely my responsibility, and I can be held accountable for it. I totally accept that, and I've paid penalties. I've dragged my career away. I've been in prison. I've lost family members. I've upset people, hurt people, you name it, and I accept all of that, and I take the punishment for it. It is no excuse. Alcohol is no excuse for behaviour, but it's an explanation. It explains why. And not having control doesn't just affect me, it affects millions. And unfortunately, they will experience very similar circumstances, because I've heard it from hundreds of people. And that's the tragedy. This is what I'm trying to get across. I'm not asking for sympathy. I'm not asking for understanding of Alan. Clearly Alan's not a bad person. What I'm trying to get across here is whatever character defects I've had, whatever personality I've got, none of the things that have been antisocial, or that have broken the law, or that have been disrespectful in my employment or in relationship with neighbours, none of those things would have happened had I not been under the influence of alcohol. And of that, I have absolutely no doubt in my mind whatsoever. And the proof of the pudding has been before drinking became excessive, and the proof of the pudding has been after. And again, I am one of many who the similarities with other alcoholics is proof categoric to me that what I'm saying is the reality of the situation. And what bugs me is the fact that of these 30 kids that are in every class around the country, 7.5 of them are going to start experiencing it, and 2 of them are definitely going to be having their lives destroyed, and there's very little being done about it.
You know, your last job before going into recovery, it came complete with a brand new company car.
It did.
How long did you have it before you crashed it? And again, did the drink play a part in that?
Well, of course it did. Of course it did. When I had it for, I don't know, maybe a month.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did.
Did you crash it on the way to work or on the way home from the pub?
On the way home from a pub one night.
Right.
I was drunk and I didn't see the car. I should have seen it, but I didn't see it, and I pulled out in his path. My fault, totally.
Did the police come along at that time? You were quite lucky then.
I got away with, not literally murder, but
somebody was watching over you.
I've been looked after all my life.
Yeah.
There's no question about that. For a reason, I feel, and I feel it's to hopefully bring this attention to others so that they don't have to endure what me and millions of, and those that have passed on sadly, have had to endure.
Yeah.
It's time for society to wake up.